Hi guys, it's Nicole. I am back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a card and we're going to be featuring the Stampin' Up Butterfly Thinlit die. It's right here. A lot of you probably have this. It's very pretty. So let's go ahead and go over what we're going to use really quick. To start off with, we'll start off with the inks here. This is just the crumb cake ink from Stampin' Up. And I already went ahead and stamped the sentiment that we're going to be using just to save some time, and I've already backed it on my cardstock here. And the sentiment comes from the Blooming with Kindness set, and this is also from Stampin' Up. This one right here. And we're also going to be using this stamp set from Hero Arts. This is called Antique Engravings, and we're just going to use the butterfly right here. And you're going to want to go ahead and cut 2 of the butterflies from your die cut. I also have some plain cardstock here. This is just white cardstock from Recollections. I'm also using some pattern paper. This is from Recollections, The Sweetest Thing stack. And I also have some cardstock here. This is from Recollections as well. This is their craft cardstock. This is a top folding card. When folded in half, it measures 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. And I'll have the measurements of all of these below. So let's go ahead and get started making our card. So to start off with, I'm going to go ahead and adhere this pattern paper right to my cardstock. And this measures just a little bit smaller than the cardstock itself, so you just have a very small craft border showing. And to do that, I'm just going to use some of my Tombow Mono multi-glue. And I'm just going to move it around a little bit until I have it even. That's why I like to use glue when I'm using large pieces of pattern paper, because I can never seem to give it even the first time when I use my adhesive tape gun. So after you have that adhered down, you're going to get out the white piece of cardstock, and we're going to work on this next. To save a little time, I've already cut out 2 of these butterflies, and I did stick one to the other, and I only put glue just in the center so his wings can still be bent up like this. And this butterfly is going to go towards the top, and I'm going to go ahead and glue the entire bottom one down. You could just glue just the center if you'd like, and that will give the butterfly even some more flying dimension. But this card is probably going to go through the mail, so I want to make sure that it's completely glued down, at least for the bottom one. And to do that, I'm going to be using this multimedia matte glue. This will, since this has really tiny places to glue, this will ensure that if any glue does come out, it will be matte when it dries, and so you won't be able to see it. Something so small, you may want to even put a little bit of glue on a piece of paper and use a a toothpick to spread the glue around in some of those tinier spaces. Because you do want to make sure the edges are really glued down. And of course you could do this part before you glue the top butterfly to it. I'm just trying to save a little time in this video. And if anything doesn't get stuck down, you can always go back and put a little glue on your toothpick and run it underneath the butterfly. So once you have that, go ahead and place your butterfly how you'd like it. And just for good measure, I'm going to also put my sentiment on here, just to get a good idea of how high I want this butterfly. And then you just go ahead and put some light pressure. You could even set a little something on this. You know, you could put your glue pad on there, your adhesive, anything you'd want really. It doesn't take too long for this to bond to the paper. And while that is gluing down, I'm going to go ahead and use some of my foam tape here to just put on the back of this sentiment, to give this a little bit of dimension as well. I'm keeping this card pretty clean and simple. And once that glue is dry, you know, you can bend those wings up a little bit. It gives it some great dimension. And from here, we're just going to be popping this up as well on some of this foam tape. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this up and I will be right back. Okay, so I've got my foam tape on and I'm just going to take off the last piece of backing. Ooh, and we're going to go ahead and place this right in the center. You can fluff that up again. So we're also going to take a piece of white cardstock, the same size as the front piece, and this is going to be our inside. And I already have that really pretty butterfly ready to be stamped on the center of this, or on the side. So we're going to go ahead and take a piece of scratch paper and lay that down. Just going to ink up our stamp. And I'm just going to put this right in the corner. And now we have a really pretty piece for the inside that coordinates really well with the craft cardstock. I'll just use my glue again. Okay, let's go ahead and smooth that down. And now we have our finished card. You can see the butterfly's dimension is pretty awesome. I love this die cut. And the inside, you can have a stamped sentiment in here if you'd like, or you can just leave it blank to write whatever you like. I'm just going to keep it just like it is. And I do love my, like, you know, bright colors and really pretty spring colors, so I did make another one. And this one is done using some kind of muted colors. I really like how this turned out. This front piece of butterfly, this is actually watercolored. And what I did was, I just took a piece of watercolor paper and I just watercolored all over it. You know, I actually just did it in lines like so. And then once you punch your butterfly out, it looks so pretty. And you know, you don't see any form of those lines really. You just see a nice blend of colors. And the pattern paper back here, this is a really pretty stack. The stack I used is from We Are Memory Keepers, and it's called Chalkboard. And this has some really pretty pattern papers in it. And, you know, I picked this up at Walmart, and I think I only spent around $3 for it. So it's definitely worth it. I actually want to go back and get one more because I think these pattern papers are really awesome to work with, and they're just so pretty, and they go with a lot of different things. So, and the inside of this one is the same butterfly, and this is actually pistachio pudding from Stampin' Up. So I hope you guys really liked this card. It's quick and easy. You can make a bunch of these really quickly if you want, or you can just kind of make them as you need them because it doesn't take too long. So I hope you guys are having a great week, and I hope you continue to have an awesome weekend. And I will be back later with another video. I will talk to you all soon. Bye!